Welcome to Understanding E-commerce Product Customization. In this breakout session, this is intended to be a high-level overview of the power of Artifi, how it's become a mission-critical software for our customers. During the next 50 minutes, we're going to introduce a few real-life Artifi clients, explain a bit about the challenges that they faced and how Artifi is able to offer a solution. For those of you who I have not yet met here, my name is David Willey. I am a technical project manager here at ecommerce. I specialize primarily with our Artifi product and am a Artifi certified instructor.
Thanks, David. I think I know most of you here, but I'm Yash Shah. I'm the Chief Technology Officer and also play a Chief Customer Success Officer here at ecommerce. And I am here to kind of walk you through kind of what Artifi is, and then David is going to walk through some of those business use cases. But with first show of hands, how many people know that ecommerce has two products, Znode and Artifi? All right. And how many of are already an Artifi customer? Great. All right, so here what we have is Artifi. We kind of talk about it in 5 different parts, which makes up our SaaS platform. And these are the 5 things that we take pride in doing well versus the competition in the personalization or product customization space. So the first is the shopper experience, which is AKA your front end, and how do you present your customization solution on top of your website, right? Out of box, we present few layout options that you can use as a starter to kind of offer your personalization journey. We also do API-based widgets that allow you to simplify the user experience if you don't need a full designer. And the custom UIs that we do also allows you to match the branding of your website so that it's all seamless to the user experience, okay? The second thing is dynamic rendering. This is sort of the core or the heart of the software, which allows for the rendering solution. All the decoration methods that we present are done through this. This is where you can configure different deco methods that allow for embroidery, laser, all of those representation. So that's kind of the heart of the software from the dynamic rendering purpose. Second is, the third part is the administration. So we are the only ones that have the self-service model. The main goal behind the software was how do we get our customers enabled to do their own administration for all the things they need to do. Product setup, templates, rules, what have you. So that's kind of our main goal is when we onboard you, we're training you and your teams to do those ongoing product work so that you're not dependent on the software company, okay? This is where you even control your user experience. So if you wanted to modify some of your look and feel while you are in the software, this is what will allow you for doing that. The fourth piece is commerce. So this is where we do a lot of integration, out-of-box integrations with Znode, obviously. But we also have connectors with BigCommerce, Magento, Shopify, and we're working on a Salesforce Commerce Cloud connector. Because at the end of the day, Artifi is an agnostic software. It can integrate with any commerce platform, backend systems, custom solutions. So we even have customers directly using it with NetSuite as like an ERP for their sales force to just log in and kind of run the commerce configurator to help, create quotes or whatever they need to do, okay? So that's kind of where the commerce integration through our APIs allows for that faster integration. And then the last thing is output, which is essentially giving you the chance to give either a virtual proof or real web-to-print outputs that you can use in your fulfillment journey. So we already have few output adapters that allow you to use as a starting point, whether it's a PDF, a PNG, that you can then further use in your fulfillment journey. We also have templates for what we call it as virtual proofs, which allows your shopper to get the confidence on what are they ordering. So they get the virtual proof not just with their order details, along with that they get a virtual proof that they can use as a sample for what they're ordering or placing a quote as a starting point. So these are the 5 key areas that we break down Artifi kind of from a value proposition, our USP in the product personalization space. Okay. So the next is, what does the architecture of Artifi look like? And in this sort of pictorial block diagram, we have taken an opportunity to showcase how this actually work, right? And we've tried to simplify this to help all personas kind of understand how this is work, whether you're a business person, an IT person, a developer from an integration perspective. So on my left, you see the Artifi, and on the right is sort of where our integration systems are. On the left is the admin, which is like the core where you are the administrator of setting up the product, the templates, the rules, all of the things that you would need to enable your personalization. The SaaS engine is what we are actually building on every day to make it for all the rendering options, whether it's 2D colorization, 360-degree rendering, which we're going to see some use cases. And that's where you are basically doing the API calls for initialization, add to cart, things of that nature. The output is where we are generating and storing them in the cloud so that you can access those outputs from any system. So that's kind of one of the idea behind the API headless based architecture, is that you don't have to store those files in different systems. You can use the APIs to be calling those output files, whether it's through your decorator, they need that file, in your order, through your CSR, they have one source file. So now that's one of the problem statement we were aware about, that people were moving files from one FTP to another FTP to another directory, and now you have 3 copies of that same file. Now this solves that, where you have one central location for that file. The APIs are also used for rendering all the user interface, whether it's a full custom designer as we talked about, or one of our starter templates, or the React widgets, or we're even going to go through one of the headless use cases where you have no designer, but you still get decorated products shown on your website. On the right, on my right, is where all your systems are. Now, whether that is a e-commerce website, order management system, ERP, whatever you have, that's where the rendering engine, the UI would present. So the typical is your PDP page, your product detail page, is where you would launch your personalization journey, whether it's a full custom UI or showcase a couple of widgets to upload a graphic widget, text box. That would show up on your PDP or your e-commerce system. On add to cart or creating the order, we're sending all that metadata into your commerce cart, whatever that might be. And then through that, for fulfillment, that order data can travel from your commerce cart to your ERP or an OMS, or as I said, through any third-party system. Okay? So if any questions around that, we can certainly take it at the end, but because of a little bit delay, we'll go through some of the use cases, which kind of showcase how all this comes together.
The CentralPac, they're a brand new division of the Central Group. The Central Group, the parent company, is an innovative manufacturer of retail packaging, displays, and fixtures, headquartered in Mississauga, Ontario. The goal for the Central Group's objective with CentralPac, this was to provide a B2B e-commerce platform that offered direct web-to-print packaging and display solutions for small mid-market, small market brands. The goal was to provide thousands of customizable packages and displays, a simple online checkout experience, low minimums on orders, quick turnaround, instant quotes. That was the vision. So CentralPac, in trying to realize their vision for CentralPac, leadership at the Central Group realized that they were going to have to ultimately be standing up a brand new D2C website channel. So what that looked like, just a little bit of context here, the executive leadership created an RFP where a solution needed to have B2B e-commerce solution capabilities as well as rendering capabilities. So to meet these objectives that they had, they knew in the RFP there were a few key points. Headless API-based architecture for the e-commerce digital rendering, B2B shopping features like the catalog management, account-based pricing, quotes, bulk ordering, flexible, scalable design that allowed for sustainable customization for digital rendering. This was a really big piece to self-manage this themselves. 360-degree preview for custom packaging, an easy, friendly user interface to design with. The persona of their shoppers may be users who are not super technical savvy, and so in decorating a product like a shipping container or a display, that actually has lots of small locations. There's a high degree of complexity that can come into it, so how do you offer a complex personalization product with a simple UI? And lastly, the centralized administration for creating these custom products. Obviously, as they're continuing to expand to roll this out, they didn't want to have to come back to a company to have those products set up. They wanted to manage this all themselves in one single central place. So let's go ahead now and actually see how this turned out. So a little bit about this actual implementation. This was done via Znode and Artifi. So the B2B e-commerce capabilities is through Znode. The personalization rendering is via Artifi. Also, this project was done with Antara team as well. So if there's any Antara folks, shout out to you guys. So let's go ahead now here and take a look at the PDP. This is the Znode PDP. We can see here that I have different sizes. I can order this box blank, or I can personalize it. So I've chosen this digital print option down here. Having selected that, now the PDP knows this product will be personalized, and I'm going to launch into the customization experience that we see here. So on our page, we again have a custom Artifi iframe. What we're looking at here is the iframe matching the rest of the site theme, but what we're looking at is a bit different from what we saw last with Land's End. This is a 2D canvas area where the actual decoration is being done on the product that's in this 2D canvas area over here. And then as we're going to decorate it, we're going to see that that will update live here in the 360 preview. So in the Artifi UI, I can also modify the material or the size. We have multiple different locations here. I'll select this bottom to start, and let's go ahead and start adding some design here, some graphics. So my same Artifi PNG that I had used previously, I'll go ahead and use again. And what you'll notice is that on this product, I can freely move around my design. So we're offering the shopper the complete ability to totally personalize where the design is happening, how it looks. In this case, now that I've added this logo, we're also going to add some text here maybe. So as I'm doing all of this here, I'm going to add, I should probably rotate this box here. I'm going to move this around, and we'll see that in real time it's updating in the location there. I'm going to continue further personalizing this box, I'm going to add yellow to it. You can see that I've done that just here on this one location. But I like this yellow and blue, so let's go ahead and just throw that here on all of these locations. So I'm showing you this 360 preview here at the bottom, but in actuality, we wanted to offer a richer view of the 360 rendering. And so we can expand this out now into a larger view. I can still do the same rotating, spinning this around. I can even go so far as to open and close this. So in doing all this, we're able to offer, again, that high degree of personalization on a very complex product, but in a UI that's much more user-friendly to the typical shopper that they're targeting as a persona here. So as I would continue with decorating, if I had this finalized, I could then go ahead and add this to cart. So what we'll see here is we have the image of the personalized product here being generated by Artifi, shown in this little pop-up here. And then as we continue to add to cart, we can see here that this is being, again, shown to the shopper. This is indicated that it's a customized product, and if I wanted to edit that, I could do so directly back here from my cart. Behind the scenes, so because this is a highly complex product, we saw that there was that 2D and 360 rendering capability here. So we had to essentially create a 2D data model for each product, and then we had to also take the 360 model, which is a GLTF file, and essentially marry those two together so that as I'm decorating on the 2D product in the bottom location, that's corresponding on the 360 model in the correct location. Then when you consider the potential layering of the base material to the color layer to any logo or text that may also apply, all that means to say is that it's a complex mapping that's being made simple through a data feed for the 2D and 360 product. So again, as the products need to be created, that's being done via the CentralPac team, via that data feed that was set up for Artifi. So again, just recapping here the core competencies, we saw the custom UI, we saw the ability to also apply color into multiple locations in a very simple, easy way. We saw the 2D rendering with the 360 model as well. From the administration standpoint, we had talked about the data feed, but I also wanted to highlight one other aspect of the setup that's being done via the Artifi admin, which is that their products, which come in two primary different colors, one white, one craft, which is essentially cardboard, has different appearances. What that means to say is that the CentralPac was even to do a high degree of personalization with how, when a logo is applied, there is slight differences in how that logo is going to look depending on if it's a white surface versus if it's a craft surface to become ultimately more realistic looking on the actual final product. So all of that configuration was being done via Artifi's rules and templates, and again, that is scalable data that once it's set up can also be applied to other products if they are similar to save time in setup going forward. We talked about the Znode Artifi integration, and because everything is being visualized here on page, the intent is that there is not an output file as needed. We can just directly add that into the cart. So let's go ahead and move on now to our third example, which is municipal energy services. Municipal emergency services. So a little bit about municipal emergency services, or MES Fire for short. They are the largest distributor of firefighting and emergency response equipment to fire departments and first responders in the U.S. They have a network of about 200 or more sales reps, 90 certified mobile service technicians, 5,600 years of combined first responder experience, 8,000 hours of certified training. So obviously this is a product that is highly targeted towards firefighters and first responders. Part of the complexity with this is that when we look at the customers that they service, every municipality or every department that they're servicing potentially has different needs. Each customer may have their own design, their own specifications, their own geographical requirements based on their jurisdiction. So all that meant to say was that MES has been creating these proofs for their customers that was incredibly varied. In terms of trying to standardize and simplify this, there was a lot of notes that were being managed, through tribal knowledge via post-it notes, and we had to standardize and simplify things. So the tailored apparel, all of those garments that are specific to fire departments or first responders, as we said, were highly customized. The workflow for those orders, when they would come in, it was very manual, very time-consuming. Those local sales reps would be gathering requirements from a municipality and then ultimately working with the customer and their back office graphic designer to create a virtual, ultimately, of what this is going to look like. Going back to the iteration, the cycle time that that's going to take, this is obviously a very long process. And so that virtual proof would go through several iterations before it finally got approved and an order could be taken. So to move beyond this manual process, the MES fire team set out a 2-phase project goal. Phase 1 was to create a uniform designer that was going to be easy for sales reps to utilize in creating their proofs in a day-to-day business activity kind of capacity that was going to be directly in their ERP system, NetSuite. And then phase 2 was going to be to extend that uniform designer that was integrated into NetSuite into their .com, which is mesfire.com for shoppers, to ultimately place custom orders on their own. So that's second phase. So let's go ahead now and jump into the actual demo here of this solution. I am in NetSuite currently under this Indiana branch retail account. And I'm going to jump into the configurator here. So this is Artifi. This is a suitelet that was created to house Artifi. And what we have here is an interface that was created by MES Fire's NetSuite developer for product selection. So what I'll do here is just quickly get into a product. And then I'm going to now create a new virtual proof here. This product that we're looking at here, this shirt, is actually a live colorized image using Artifi. What that means to say is this product maybe isn't the best example, but if there was a product that came in multiple different colorways, what MES is doing is they're providing us one image, an image that doesn't have any color but it's highly saturated with shadows. And what Artifi is doing is we're providing a color layer on the product image to create the final version of this. So I don't know how many of us here thought that this was a photograph. It's not. It's actually live coloring using Artifi. So we have multiple different decoration locations that you can see here. Each different decoration location has different embellishment options, meaning that if we're talking about a collar versus, say, the left chest or right chest of a shirt, there's entirely different options that can be embellished in each of those locations. So depending on which location I'm choosing, I'm going to see embellishment options that are specific to that garment. So here I'm going to be adding a flag emblem on the chest here. I can either upload a image, so imagine that sales rep is working directly with a municipality. No exaggeration, someone could at the municipality say, this is my department's badge, plop it down. What that means to say is that we're working with a customer base that may not have logos that they have on file, and so files may be having to be uploaded in order to get that visualized here on the product, or there could be a library of logos on the account that could be provided. In this case, because we're going to apply a flag logo, MES is offering a library of clip art of globally available artwork here. So they already have a library of flag logos that I can use to start decorating here on my product. So what I've just done here is I've gone through a logo library, I've applied this logo, I'm going to add here some text. And I've just decorated one location, but in actuality, these uniforms are most likely going to have a high degree of embellishment. So commonly, multiple locations are going to be decorated. I'm just going to click into another one that I see here, and on the right chest, let's go ahead now and add our name. All right, right, so this is showing up in a script font, one of the scripts that they offer. I want this to be block 2. We can see here that this is updating. I'm going to choose a better font. I want this to stand out a bit more. So let's go ahead and choose a lemonade. Okay. So here we have our text, we have our flag embellishment. I can continue going through this process, adding notes each time here. And as a reminder, the main value with making this change is going to be to not only provide the visual, the live visualization, but we also want to get to a point where that proof document that was being generated and having to be sent back and forth, that's able to be generated by Artifi. So as this is saving here, it's going to download, it's going to want me to add a name. Okay. So this is going to save, and it's going to generate a PDF document here. And what that's going to look like is something like this. So this is the document that's generated here. Again, there's no humans that are touching this. This is entirely generated here by Artifi. This is enabling their sales team to go into a location, to have a conversation, to sit down with a customer, and live during that conversation actually create a virtual proof that someone can look at and say, yes, let's make it happen. So all of that without having to go through the back and forth of including a graphic designer in the approval process was a huge win for the MES Fire team. There is also behind the scenes, as I mentioned, the complex product setup where we're doing that colorization. That is being set up via Artifi, using the Artifi admin. All of these templates, all of these libraries of logos, of text as well, are able to then be scaled to other similar products to, again, speed up future setup time. So kind of recapping here, we saw the iframe. How it was customized is obviously a much different workflow that we've seen in comparison to some of the other UIs. The 2D product rendering, colorization, based on the different embellishments. If I were to choose something that needed to look like embroidery, that's going to be happening in real time via Artifi's rendering. We've talked about the administration being centralized. This integration with NetSuite is obviously a little bit different. However, this does set us up then for phase 2 integrate into the .com. It's one instance of Artifi that can be integrated into multiple different web properties, or in this case, the NetSuite ERP, and in the future, the .com. And we saw the virtual proof here in real time. Okay, so continuing on here, so our next and our last customer example here is going to be Spoke Custom. So Spoke Custom is known for leading print-on-demand businesses with a wide assortment of high-quality, customizable products that help companies foster brand loyalty, meaning that there's several different industries that they cater to: events, brands, organizations, higher education. Spoke Custom specializes in the end-to-end solution where they offer those branded storefront experiences with a specific assortment of goods in the store with options to personalize those products. So as we talk about the challenges that they faced, there are a few things to know. The current process that they were using to set up storefronts and storefront specific catalogs was very manual and very tedious, meaning that each product that was offered on a brand specific web store required new product images to be created by a graphic designer, right? So every time that you were spinning up a new customer, that was a new task that a graphic designer had to assist with, and became obviously slowed down by having to involve that graphic designer. The high cost, high turnaround setup time for the store slowed down their opportunities to launch new customers. What they needed obviously was a repeatable solution that offered scalable single catalog setup that could be rendered with customized product images on the fly to accelerate and automate that new store setup, reducing dependency on manual efforts to merchandise and create graphics. Does anyone here know of a B2B e-commerce platform that's really good at scalable catalog management? Okay, well, surprise, it was Znode. So let me go ahead and give you here an example of what that actually looks like here in person. So we talked about these are highly customizable storefront experiences. This is a brand that would essentially invite a shopper to browse a catalog. So here I'm going to sign in, and my brand, whose logo you can see up here in the left-hand corner, is taking the assigned products to my web store and is on the fly generating this branded image, taking the base product image that's in Znode, takes the account that is the logo that's based on my account, and then obviously is on the fly generating this image here that we're seeing for these products. So quickly, I'm going to go into one of these that has the add your name option. We can see here that I can browse between different product options. If I were to choose the black, I see this colorful logo. Through business logic, we can map that to different versions of the same logo. If I add some text here, we can see here that I can visualize that here in real time. And again, as I change that colorway of the product, I can also update the rendered text and logo that's on our product here. So again, going back to the list view here of our products, we can see that there's an assortment for this store. I'm going to quickly jump into another store and showcase here. You can hold that for a second. And so what we can see here is that, again, there's an entirely new storefront allocated to a different account that has an entirely different, but there is some similarities in products. Here you can see the Ambassador Bound Journal Book coming from the same single catalog, but again, allocated differently for this customer's account. And so what we're seeing here, again, is an entirely separate store from one single master catalog that is able to generate branded images on the fly using Artifi. There's no Artifi interface. It's entirely done via Znode. Artifi is just providing that branded image on the fly. So just kind of recapping here, the majority of this is obviously a headless implementation via the headless API that we offer to provide that on-the-fly image. Depending on the decoration method, the product, all of those renderings could be updated to match the selected decoration method. Those are scalable methods and templates that can be applied across multiple products. So as there's a high degree of variance in their products. Similar products can be set up quicker based on those scalable templates. And with this Znode Artifi integration, we're not going to have time to show it here, but there is also a PNG output file that's then used in the direct web to print output process.
All right. I think we're holding you guys up for the big show in the next room. So, all right, super. Thanks, everybody.